let's get into it. The reason that I'm relegated to the bench. Let's talk about the Oscars.
The
What happened?
Oscars, baby. The
gonna-
creme de la creme.
Let's
The
get a recap.
last award
Yeah.
ceremony of the season.
Yes. So this past Monday for us in Australia, saw the end of the award season with the 96 Oscars. It was pretty poppin'. It was pretty much anticipated because this whole award season has been pretty it's been some good competition with stuff. But also maybe that's because I was more invested in this year's batch of movies. And I would say for you too, you've seen quite a few of the Best Picture nominees.
And I think, well, it helps when you've got certain favorites involved. It helps when, I think the whole Barbenheimer phenomenon really put a spotlight into the movies and
Cinema.
and then even the random ones that have come through, like Past Lives, Anatomy of the Fall, and then the proverbial punching bag that is Maestro.
Exactly.
So you got a bit of everything there, I think.
Yes, exactly. So I was very much more invested in this one because I think I stated this in an earlier episode that I've seen 9 out of 10 of the Best Picture nominees. And then as well, I was involved. I told this to you. I was involved with an online competition.
Yeah.
With one of the cinemas to basically predict the categories and winners.
How did that go, by the way?
They will. It's still a couple 2 weeks until they'll announce. I think at the end of the
What,
month,
tabulate all the results and
they'll
stuff?
announce winners. But I did pretty good. I got 17 out of 23.
That's pretty good.
So
That's pretty good.
because of the fact that I pretty much knew about the spread.
Yeah.
The spread of the movies that were all in categories. I sort of fell out on the documentaries, but
But that's going to happen.
It's a bit harder.
In
to
stark
access
contrast,
those ones.
Kev, can you tell us what's your experience with the Oscars this year?
I was busy working,
Oh.
busy bringing home the monies. No, but the thing about the Oscars in Australian time, it's always during peak work hours, right?
So, hilariously, I would thank you for touching
I mean,
upon
she was
this.
working too. Just
It is funny. I was also working and doing my business, but there is a sense of multitasking, isn't there? Channel 7 in Australia specifically marketed the Oscars in their promos as watch it live while you work from home. And I just thought,
That's the way to do it.
They knew.
They knew what's up.
The demographic.
in my previous workplaces where we did have TVs around because I did work in the media industry.
Yeah, it would have been on, right? Just
It was
if
always
the NBA
on.
playoffs
It's
is
same
on.
thing with
Yeah.
NBA. It just happens,
Cricket,
right?
to
It's
a
your
lesser degree.
standard Monday American thing that happens where it just happens that, if you're interested as well, it's just part of the passage of time, Super Bowl can have a 3-hour lunch just because you can. So,
You can't have a 3
productivity, guys. Productivity.
Exactly. But yes, I do remember you set your whole desk near the TV, and so had to be prepared. She was still working. Hey, she was still working.
Still had my meetings.
Exactly.
Still had my thoughts.
All right, let's get into it.
Exactly. All right, so we'll start off first. So the viewing numbers was pretty interesting. It was 19.5 million estimated this year, which is the highest in 4 years.
Is that American numbers or is that global numbers?
I think it might be American.
Yeah. Well, I would just assume it's American, right?
Yes.
Because it's
compared to 18.8 million last year. But even then, last year's Oscars was pretty popping as well. But I think
the extra 1 million is because of
Barbenheimer.
well, arguably one man and one man alone
Unbelievable.
who has my heart.
In this household, we stand Ryan Gosling.
Can we just give him a clap?
Well,
I just think
we're
that
starting off early
No.
with actors.
No.
I just think that is fantastic. I saw him in real life when we were in Germany.
Yes, I
in
remember you
Berlin.
sending pictures of that.
Breathe the
Insert-
same air as
insert here.
him. This is my whole
3 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Hey man.
You got to be at a premiere
When in
Europe.
when in Berlin.
Exactly. Oh, yes, exactly.
It's probably one of the better things to do in Berlin, to be honest. Berlin's great. I love Berlin.
Oh goodness.
Good kebabs.
But I think what also contributed to probably it being a better sort of ceremony was that they reintroduced a former tradition that brings back former winners. That was first introduced in 2009.
I love this. This was so
It's
good.
so nice.
So Kev, just so you know, so what the Oscars, because it's all about tradition, it's all about the history, what you call it, cinema. All this is being said with like italics.
Take a shot every time we say cinema.
Yeah, cinema. They brought the winners of that category back
to introduce the nominees.
Awesome.
nominees.
Yep.
Yes.
And the pairings were quite
quite good.
Quite good.
Because, like, for example, you have Michelle Yeoh. She came back to introduce Sandra Huller.
Yep.
It was for the main quartet acting categories that
Yeah.
they did this for. And so you had Nicolas Cage, Matthew McConaughey,
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell,
Yeah.
Ke Huy Quan. It was like an all stars of just bringing them back in. And
Jennifer Lawrence.
they would be matched up to each nominee and basically introducing them instead of playing the reel.
Yeah.
So
Which is a nice touch, and you got a whole lot of like really nice words, some spicy words. It was so good to see Sam Rockwell and RDJ play it out again.
Who
like
was hosting, by the way?
Iron Man 2. Oh,
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Fine.
I nearly
Yeah.
said I nearly said
I
Fallon.
Heard the F, but
Oh,
I jumped
A good
in.
job. Any good jokes? Any? So.
He's good for the star power that he can bring, if that makes sense. Like when you're creating like skits with celebrities.
What's his writers though? It's not him.
No, it's not. It won't just be him.
Yeah.
But I think it's because, like, widely speaking, and I'm saying this very widely, he's generally
Safe.
safe.
Yeah.
However,
Should've got
I
joke
know
right.
we're supposed to be going into categories, but very quickly, I don't know if this was on your list,
No,
but there was this is a 101 lesson for all celebrities, and I'm talking to you, other woman on my t-shirt, Emma Stone, Academy Award winning Emma Stone,
2-time.
2-time. That's crazy. 2 times? My gosh.
Yes.
So, you get so at the start of his monologue, he spoke about all the different movies, making the standard jokes. And you know what? Hilariously, now that I think about it, it kind of feels the same vein of like Joko's jokes.
With Golden Globes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's because he's,
No, hold on. But
in the industry.
But without the offense, I'm assuming, right?
Well, there's this one in particular where he spoke about Poor Things, which is Emma Stone's movie, and just basically reduced it more about the because it's essentially about a film about this being who was created
and explores sexuality and all that.
like explores life and explores sexuality, and he reduced it basically to the sexual component of the film. And then you can see as all the cameras pan to like
To
the
the
reactions
audience,
and whatnot, you can see Emma Stone being flicked up on the screen, and we're pretty sure that she says to her husband, he's a prick.
The mouthing sounds like it pretty much is. This is like Medvedev levels of karma.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like. She said.
But
So-
overall, I guess he did great in the the skits, the hyping of the awards best as he can. I'm secretly hoping, and I'm wondering if this is also in your run sheet.
Yes,
sorry,
I think
that
we're touching on this earlier.
John
yes.
Mulaney should genuinely be the next
the next
host, because he's
Yes.
like
He
in
basically did an audition
in his 5 minutes he
Yes.
smashed it out of the park
when he was introducing
so
his category. Like, honestly, regarding Jimmy Kimmel, I'm just like, I'm kind of tired, I guess, of seeing him come back. But again, it's because he's the safe choice.
yeah, he's a safe choice. He's hitting his Fallon era.
Yeah.
You know, where like Kimmel, because I didn't really like him. I
At
think I've
start.
said this in another podcast at
Yes,
one point in time,
yes.
where it's like at the start, but
Because
then
we were about Jimmy Fallon.
yeah, we're about Jimmy Fallon at the time,
Yes.
and then Kimmel came, and then he's like, oh, okay, cool. So he's friends with a lot of like the people we like, etc., etc. He does funny skits and key recurring sections and whatnot in his show, and then now it's just kind of like gotta go on to the next one. Hey, the new flavor.
Okay, so I was just searching up. So Jimmy Kimmel has hosted 4 times.
Yeah,
But
safe choice.
But when I was trying to Google, I said Jim or Kimmel. So
That feels right.
yeah. So yeah, he's done it 4 times. And it's just, I remember seeing a lot of people touching on particular jokes that he said, where it's like, we're over the, movies are long jokes. Like, That's been done and dusted. That's been beaten to death. It's like, a lot of people just being like, let's bring back people who are genuine about movies,
Yeah.
and not just ragging on it for
Yeah.
the sake of comedy and whatnot.
Just that little bit that it's gonna get a fake laugh, a canned laugh and whatnot.
Who are passionate, like I'm sure, like your Billy Crystal sort of.
Yeah,
era.
that was that's
That's a while back. Yeah, those kind of people.
Yeah.
Um,
Back to the categories.
back to the categories. So we're beginning with the acting quartet. So as it was predicted, and they were the front runners throughout the whole award season. So supporting was given to Divine Joy Randolph and Robert Downey Jr. Well earned, I would say, across both.
Contrary
performances.
to some opinions that are being
And
held that
discourse.
he is playing himself, I disagree.
No, legit, like this was RDJ's like best move post Marvel
Yeah,
to have joined this role.
yeah,
Because, I remember, like, explaining to a friend that, like, yes, he does play roles that are often in his, like, same wheelhouse, like the kooky, sarcastic characters. But this one as Louis Strauss, it's like, it was different enough that you're just like, oh.
he's literally done a renaissance twice.
Yeah.
If you
yeah.
really think
Yes.
about it, right?
Yes.
So obviously, post the being locked up and getting in trouble and all that stuff, and then being offered Iron Man, and then the decade of Iron Man, where people are still convinced, like, hey, come back because you got to save Marvel.
Let him be with his billions.
And then now with this move, like he said, he needed this role more than the film needed him, and smashed it. So good on him.
Exactly. To work with the Christopher Nolan, and I'll extend the same to Divine Joy Randolph. I know you haven't seen Holdovers
No, I
yet,
haven't yet.
but she was incredible in the Holdovers, and it's like she was in the same acting class, I believe, as Lupita. So that's why they're friends.
Oh, that's nice.
And so it's like you love to see it, like representation as well. Like her speech was incredible. It was touching.
There has to be a certain amount of pressure or expectation if you've won all of the awards throughout the whole season
Oh yes.
to possibly lose the last one, which
Which is about to touch onto something, onto the next category.
yeah.
So for leading, we had Emma Stone and Cillian Murphy. Okay, so let's start with Emma Stone.
Okay, let it out, Kat, let it out.
Starting with Emma Stone, I will say I was a bit disappointed, but it's like I've seen her in Poor Things. She was amazing in that role. She really embodied it. It was great, but I really believe it should have gone to Lily Gladstone. Like it boggles my mind, but it was hard because I know there's some politics to it because I believe Emma won the BAFTA, but then Lily won the SAG award. So it was meant to be a very close race between them.
So Kev, just so you're across it, there is basically a kind of in the same way with I guess any other awards in any other sporting field or whatever, the key indicators that if you win a certain award in that category, it's like
It's setting you
you're
up
weighted up 50% more likely to win or whatever versus
in
and
the
so
next major one.
so like whereas all the other categories have been kind of a one person race.
One horse.
I didn't know. I don't.
I know what which phrase
I don't want to say horse for different reasons, as it will come to play soon. In the leading actress category, there was a
Jeez.
startle myself.
There's a lot of props.
Yeah, a lot of props because fallen and everything, but yeah. It was a two person race
For this one. In a way,
yeah.
I would say Emma was the dark horse for this race. Because a lot of people were hoping for Lily because of the representation. She was the first Indigenous actress to be nominated.
And she literally held Killers of the Flower Moon on her back.
Yes.
I'd say that as somebody who hasn't watched the film, so don't hate
As someone
me.
who has seen it, yes, she was like the star of it. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, in her introduction, she was the soul of that movie. And so I remember as soon as it was announced for Emma, I just felt a very like the wind was just taken out because myself along with a lot of people probably on the internet were hoping for Lily because it would have been a historic win.
Yeah.
and like I'm sure she will. I hope that she will continue to get the chance for another role. But again, as history knows, it's always harder for Black, Indigenous, people of color, actors and actresses to get that extra leg up in comparison to white actors and actresses who just speed on through.
And that's the other thing about Oscars, which is quite interesting, where it's like, if you win the pinnacle, right, then it's like the idea is that it then helps you jump into new opportunities. You get your currency kind of value up in the market, and people want to then work with you and stuff. But there's also history that shows that sometimes doesn't work out because it's
we discussed this. An example, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah.
She won her Oscar 10 years ago, and she hasn't been
as big as you thought she would be.
As much projects as, say, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
So it speaks volumes. It's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how that goes. So unfortunately, again, great for Emma. She's very talented. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Poor Things was quite the film. Like, it was very, very intriguing. But I really do believe it should have gone to Lily because she had such a nuance, such a subtle performance, which is what was a key factor for Cillian Murphy, who won.
Yep.
And he swept the whole way, and deservedly so, because as
an amazing performance. Bradley Cooper, you could never.
You tried so hard.
Let's keep taking shots at Bradley.
Well,
Cooper.
because Bradley Cooper campaigned hard against Cillian.
As you should.
And
if you want to win it.
But he gave there was much shade in the campaigning where he thought, I've immersed myself in this role for 3 years, and meanwhile he's like, Cillian has only been immersed in 6 months and pretty much smashed it. Bro, I don't know if that's how you're describing it is the best way you want to describe it.
Also,
I just call that an efficient and well prepared actor.
It's rough
so
shots.
And look, Cillian is more talented than Bradley. I'll say it.
Let's say it.
I'll say it.
Let's say it. We love you, Rocket Raccoon. We love you, but
yes, yes, you're great as Rocket Raccoon. I'm sure there are other roles that you're good at, but no, Cillian he's been solid in every single role that he's done. So he has more range, I would say, as well. So deservedly so. Happy that Cillian managed to get his first nomination and first win. You'll have to see it.
One from one.
In one sit go. All right, so that's our acting quartet for this year, which is, I feel like quite often whenever they show the quartets, there's at least 3 out of 4 I'm very happy got it, and then there's the one I'm like, could have gone to someone else, but that's okay. I guess
that's how it is. That's how they roll. The Academy votes in a certain way.
Yeah, they could never get it fully right. They can never make you fully happy. So just how it is. Touching on Barbenheimer, so we'll talk about them in the sense of their nominations and their wins.
Yep.
So Oppenheimer came out on top, winning 7 out of 13 nominations.
Which is expected.
Which was, they were bound to get it. And they were the most nominated movie this year. Because besides RDJ and Cillian, they won Best Director, hooray for Chris Nolan. Finally, his first Oscar after several years. They won Best Score. You couldn't beat Ludwig this year. There was no way you could beat him. The amount of times people play Can You Hear the Music, the violins, the chills every time I hear it. They also won Cinematography, Hoytven Hoytema. I hope I'm saying that name right. You can't go wrong with him because he did Dunkirk. He did.
It's really good to see the ongoing collaboration that happens within a Nolan film, and when you start working so closely together and can understand the vision that's supposed to be driven towards, you can see it. You see it play out in all domains. So it's very well done to the Oppenheimies.
The Oppenheimies, yeah. It's very much, Nolan is a good example of when you've gotten your team, you stick with your team.
That's it.
And then you're just going to end up building something even better.
That's it.
And deservedly so.
And then what about Barbie? What happened with Barbie?
Oh, Barbie. So they got 8 nominations, right? They only went home with 1.
Which is also to be expected if we're thinking about the is Barbie a legitimate cinema masterpiece? You know, the conjecture about it. I say it is, but obviously there are degrees of, you know, perception of acting, and that's
And
what.
cinema.
But you know,
Yeah.
you gotta give props to genuinely the execution of it all. The fact that they were nominated in film best picture
Yes.
still stands, and I think that is a great testament to the whole team, even though it is more about the producers. But you know, Greta Slade, like genuinely, like being able to
It's
bring that
still-
all together. The script was amazing.
It's still unfortunate she didn't get nominated for
It's,
directing.
you know,
but
yeah,
it
it's
is what it is.
when you're fit within the confines of what people deem as the standard or the criteria. I think that's the biggest glaring like thing that you can see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's, you know, your Oppenheimer is deemed, you know, best in everything, when other people think, oh no, but you're thinking about the freshest movie, be it Past Lives, be it Anatomy of the Fall, where it's actually like gripping and really good from like a what's being respected from an artist's point of view versus the regular punters, right? Where it's
Yes.
like, you know, what is it? And then versus the Academy. So that's good. I just really want to talk about Ryan Gosling again, to be honest. Like, as we close this out super quickly, like
Yes.
it was everything. Like, if there's one video that you need to watch this week,
Over this guy, man.
it is the performance of I'm just Ken. Sublime.
Knocked it out of the park. Like, I could not keep my eyes off of it. I was laughing. I was enjoying it, and just the way that they were able to bring that to life.
Yeah.
Essentially, I
Yeah.
was just like,
Literally the last performance, and
Damn.
while it was never going to win Best Song, it was always going to go to Billie Eilish.
Yes.
But what a performance! What a star!
Props to him for just putting his hand up, like, okay, I will perform this. And like, shout out to Mark Ronson. I think this is like his second
Yeah.
Oscar nominated song too.
Yeah, killing it.
And
My
then-
boy's killing it as well.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So, besides that, well, I was going to add for Barbie. I genuinely thought they could have gotten production or costume, but
Yeah, but
both
Poor
went
Things,
to
right?
Poor Things.
Yeah,
Poor-
because it's like it's
Poor Things
it's
was
your
more exotic and
yeah, and it's just like it's
strange
yeah,
and all that.
which is yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but
is what
you
it
know,
is.
it is what it is. Just quickly, so out of the best pictures, Killers of the Flower Moon, Past Lives, and Maestro went home empty-handed. I mean, I'm fine with Maestro going empty-handed. I knew Past Life was always going to be hard to get in there because it's an indie darling, I think, of this season. And then it's just a real shame for Killers of the Flower Moon because I really thought they would have gotten it with Lily at least. So
And again, it's I guess it's the change of the guard, right? Where you've got, you know, your stalwart, you know, elite, be it Leo, be it Scorsese and whatnot.
even Leo
But now
wasn't
you got to
nominated,
make
yeah. So
But now
that's
it's,
the
I
thing.
guess you got to make the everything is shifting, everything is
The new-
changing.
the
The
new
new is coming
artists
in.
have come in.
So
yeah.
will be interesting to see what happens in the movies next year.
Well, this upcoming year and
Yeah.
whatnot, it'll be very interesting. But otherwise, I have to say, yeah, I pretty much enjoyed this Oscars. Ready for the next ones to roll in, and so otherwise, keep waiting for cinema.
We'll see you at
Pew,
the
pew, 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 pew.
movies.